Hello, I'm Matt Steininger with the Longmont Observer, and I'm joined today by Lori Jones, CEO of Avocet Marketing Communications, right?
Yes, marketing communications.
And how long have you been in Longmont?
My father started the business in 1980.
1980?
1980, a long time ago. And so easy math puts that as us at 38 years, right here in Longmont.
Yeah, it's almost as old as me.
Thank you very, very much. You've just aged me.
Well, I've aged myself.
We won't get into that, will we?
No. So why Longmont? Why did they choose Longmont?
You know, my parents moved the family here in 1971. And at the time, my father had a position with a trade show exhibit manufacturer out of Denver. And they felt that Longmont was, at the time, a nice, easy commute into the city each day. And obviously getting away from the hustle and bustle of that each night was very, very important to them. Also, it's Longmont. The education, the views, the people are just something that they really fell in love with at the time.
Now, you guys focus on your business marketing.
Right. Well, we're integrated marketing communications. So yes, business and consumer marketing.
Okay. Now, a lot of common thoughts I think people have about marketing would be like commercials or newspaper ads, social media, having a personal website, maybe a physical sign, or like flyers, maybe even joining the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, and is there really more to that?
There certainly is more to that. Marketing is the best marketing programs out there right now are integrated marketing. You've described a lot of different techniques. And at the end of the day, those programs that are integrated, that have multiple touch points and multiple media mixes, are the ones that are going to amplify the message we're trying to get across, the product, the service, whatever it might be, that much more. All too often, people put their eggs in one basket. They might just do a flyer, or might just join the chamber and not do anything else. When you multiply the media types, if you will, that's when you'll amplify the product and service and really raise awareness.
Yeah, I've seen people that would like get a social media account, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or maybe even both, and then they might do some pay for some ads, but then they don't post really anything.
Right. There's a very important mix between the two, right? You've just defined organic media and paid media strategies. And anymore, Facebook, it does not matter if you're a B2B tech company, if you're a consumer product company, or you are a business-to-business service organization. Facebook advertising becomes a very, very important component of a paid strategy, knowing that you can include paid in an overall mix. The organic side of what you just talked about is also important. That is where you can really push out the tone, be relevant on a day-to-day basis on something that might be happening in the news. And it's important to maintain an even cadence of communication via that channel.
Now, also, one of the things that I've done in previous businesses and stuff is getting involved, like with the Chamber of Commerce or other organizations trying to do things in the community. Do you help with that?
We do. So association communication is very, very important, becoming a part of associations. And again, it does not matter if it's a chamber or if it's an industry association, and making sure that the message is also amplified there via the people that might be communicating day to day as they get involved in those associations, as well as making sure that if there are advertising or speaking opportunities, that we're amplifying that opportunity.
Awesome. So you also have a podcast.
I do.
And is that open to the public?
It is open to the public. So the name of the podcast is Integrate and Ignite. And we focus our content on speaking with business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, as well as marketing communication experts. And the podcast is on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and our website.
And your website is avocetcommunications.com?
Right.
Now, the podcast was specifically noted in Colorado Biz Magazine. In 2016, you got the award of Women to Watch.
Right.
How was that?
I tell you, my husband was like, well, I've always been watching you. Well, how is this any different? No, it was such an honor. I tell you, we have, we've just experienced a tremendous amount of growth, a tremendous amount of success. We've got an incredible team. I learned from the best, my father, and to be recognized as, a woman to watch in Colorado business and be right here in Longmont made me very, very proud.
And then last year, you were also in, I think it was like the top 100 businesses owned by women.
We are.
Yeah.
We are the 40th largest female-owned business in the state of Colorado, something that we're very, very proud of. And again, it's the whole team that is helping us achieve that. I just happen to be the woman who owns the joint. So
right.
It's something that I'm very, very proud of because it took all of us to get there.
Yeah, I saw the list of some of your clients, and it's pretty massive.
It is. We have incredible clients in several different sectors, a lot of business-to-business technology clients. We've got consumer product clients. Our thrift stores is one of our largest consumer brands that we've really helped grow over the last many years. They'll be opening up a store here in Longmont
Oh, nice.
very soon. So very exciting, a group of companies and businesses that we work with.
Now, do you have any, I'm kind of interested in like stories. Do you have any like really interesting kind of marketing success stories or something that weird or interesting that happened?
Weird or interesting. I feel like our days, each and every moment, are weird and interesting, right? I mean, the advertising and marketing arena is, you never know what is around the next corner. We have our to-do list each and every day, and by 8 o'clock they've completely changed. Which is what makes it very exciting and a lot of fun. I would reflect on, one of the things that we really pride ourselves in are really measuring outcomes, right? Really understanding what the best possible outcome, given the budget and the media mix that we have to work with, what we can do to amplify that and create some real KPIs for our clients. And we had a client by the name of TechDry appear on Shark Tank a few years ago, actually a couple years ago now. And our charge, outside of really helping them get there, was what can we do to amplify the message the night of the airing of the show? What can we do to extend it from just that moment, just that 20-minute segment, to everything before and after, right? So we put together an incredible PR story. We pitched news media ahead of time. One of the local affiliates in Denver covered it, and what we had them ask them to do is upload the B-roll to the national story view, which meant that additional stations were going to pick up the story before ultimately it even aired, which worked really, really well. And then, of course, we had the night of the viewing. We had media there, but then we took all of that content, we took all those video views, and we amplified it for months after the fact. And this was just media relations, right? This was just one piece of an overall integrated mix. We took care of messaging on their website prior, social media prior, and after. That's ongoing. And it really amplified. I don't have the numbers on that because you put me on the spot, but I want to say, that's always good. I want to say that the earned media values, so what they paid us versus what we achieved in value, was about 300 times what the investment was. So that's a very, very good KPI.
So it sounds like you do a lot of like one-on-one structured maybe goals and things for an individual client, not just a blanket for everybody.
We do, right. We walk into each and every client relationship with no preconceived notions. So what we ask ourselves is, what is the product or service? What are their points of differentiation? Who is the competition? Who is the audience? What emotions evoke a purchase within that audience? And then we take a look at messaging and then the integrated mix to amplify that message and increase customer count, customer acquisition for our clients.
Awesome. Now, I noticed coming in that you have some really interesting decor.
We do.
In the shape of like pallets.
Yes. You've got to walk the walk, right?
Well, I gotta say, when you're walking by, you're like, what? Double take? What is that?
I know. So my father and I, when we bought the building, and it's just an incredible storefront here, right, on Main Street, USA, right? We wanted to bring it back to its original glory, back to 1890. We still have the tin ceilings, the brick walls that you see right behind us here. But we wanted to bring a level of today's sophistication to the table. So we really contrasted the old and the new. And we built the desks out of pallets in what we call the bullpen. And it was just something, it becomes a very neat conversation piece and something that aesthetically we feel really helps people understand the brand behind the agency too, and the thought process, the uniqueness that we ultimately bring to each client situation.
Yeah, you were saying that this place used to be a pizza joint.
Oh, it was many, many things. It's over 100 years old now. It started out as a confectionery, and we even found some of the old cans dating back to the early 1900s when we were renovating the building that they would have used when it was a confectionery. It was a restaurant after that. It became a pizza parlor in the 1930s. And then after that, it became more businesses, and business operations were out of this. It was a tailor at one point. When we bought the building, a week before we were moving in, we had them make some changes to the back of it. As they were pulling up some of the tile in the bathrooms, there was a trap door. Underneath the trap door was a staircase to a basement, which nobody knew was here. And ultimately, by the people walking through the doors, typically in their 80s, we've heard a lot of tales. That's how we learned that this was a pizza parlor. And what we learned about that basement was that in the mid-19th century, there was a tailor here at a clothing store, and they made all the clothing in that basement. Well, I tell ya, we opened up the basement, and sure enough, there was the cutting table for the fabric that had been used all those years before was still down there. The shelving units to hold the bolts of fabric is still down there. So really neat tales by people just walking through the door.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It is cool, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's these paintings all over of different logos.
Right.
And you were saying that was from the pizza joint?
This was from the pizza joint in the 1930s. And again, we would not have known. We assumed that one of the professional service organizations had painted those in the 1960s, 1970s. No. Again, by someone walking through the doors of the front office here, she let us know that she used to sit here next to the RC8 dog and have pizza with her father all those years ago.
That's pretty cool.
It's neat.
So is there anything else you'd like to tell the people of Longmont?
Well, I tell you, we are very, very happy to be in Longmont. We love this community. It is, I've grown up in the community. I went to Longmont Estates Elementary, Longmont Junior High School at the time, Longs Peak Junior High School, rather, and then Longmont High School. And we had the option to move the agency down to Denver a few years ago, and I could not leave. This community's been good to us. We've been good to the community. Our community outreach programs are just massive, and it's important to us because we want to be able to give back. So we're happy we're here, Longmont.
Now, you do have an office in Denver.
We do.
But you are going to stay here as well.
Right. This is our main hub is right here. No doubt about it. We're always going to be here.
Well, it's because we're the most awesome.
You are.
Well, thank you very much.
It's been my
appreciate
pleasure.
it. And thanks to Lori Jones from Avocet Communications. I'm Matt Steininger with the Longmont Observer, and we will see you guys on the next video.